All right, welcome. In this explainer, we're going to crack open a killer mental math shortcut. I'm talking about a trick that'll save you crucial minutes and points on those tough financial exams. Seriously, this is what the pros use, and you're about to learn it right now. Okay, so picture this. You're sitting in that dead, silent exam hall, right? The clock on the wall is just ticking, louder than your own heartbeat. And the worst part? No financial calculators allowed. You've been doing pretty well. You're cruising along, and then you turn the page. Your stomach just drops because you see a question that looks like this. Yeah, this beast of a formula is just staring back at you, and your first instinct probably is to just panic. I mean, how on earth are you supposed to calculate 1.06 to the power of 10? In your head, it feels totally impossible, right? But hold on, just take a deep breath. Because the solution here is surprisingly straightforward. You don't need to be some kind of math genius. You just need a really clever shortcut. So let's break this thing down. Okay, so the first rule when you're tackling a problem like this is to just cut through all the noise. We need to figure out what the question is actually asking. You know how it is. Exam questions just love to throw in all these distracting details to try and trip you up. And in this case, all that talk about quarterly payments, that's just a classic red herring. It's totally designed to confuse you, so we're just going to ignore it. Let's focus on the real core of the problem. It's just a simple $1,000 annuity invested for 10 years at 6%. That's it. That's all that really matters. So here's the real key to solving this whole thing, that entire messy formula. You have to realize that it all just boils down to one tiny part of the equation. If we can just get a good estimate for that one little piece, believe me, the rest is a piece of cake. And this is it. This is the crux of the whole shortcut. All we need is a quick and dirty estimate for 1.06 to the power of 10. That's it. Once we have that one value, we'll call it our magic number. The rest of the calculation becomes, well, surprisingly simple. Okay, so here's the mental gymnastics, and it's not as hard as it sounds. You don't need to calculate all 10 years at once, no way. Just remember this one common benchmark. 6% growth over 5 years is roughly a 34% gain. So your initial investment gets multiplied by about 1.34. Now, to get to 10 years, what do? We just square that 5-year number. And 1.34 squared, it's about 1.8. And trust me, for what we're doing, that is absolutely close enough. And boom, there it is, 1.8. That is our magic number, our key value. Now, is it the exact answer? No, not quite. The precise value is actually 1.79. But 1.8 is so incredibly close that it will absolutely, positively lead you to the right answer on any multiple choice question they can throw at you. Okay, so we've got our key. Now let's see how this one little number just completely unlocks the entire problem and turns this monster calculation into simple arithmetic. So now we just plug our 1.8 back into that simplified formula for the annuity factor. Remember, the annuity factor is just the multiplier we need. So we've got 1.8 minus 1 divided by 0.06. That simplifies pretty easily to 0.8 divided by 0.06. Now, that still looks a little tricky to do in your head, right? But don't worry, there's a trick for this part too. Okay, this is a really important shift in thinking. You need to stop thinking like a math student who's lost their calculator and start thinking like a savvy investor on the street. Instead of trying to do that nasty division in your head, just work backwards. Just ask yourself, okay, what number times 0.06 gets me pretty close to 0.8? Let's just test a few numbers out. I don't know, how about 13? Okay, 13 times 0.06 is 0.78. Hey, that's really close. Can we get a little bit closer? Let's try nudging it up to, say, 13.2. Well, 13.2 times 0.06 is 0.792. Wow, that is practically on the money. So yeah, let's go with that. Our annuity factor is about 13.2. And just like that, we're at the final step. And honestly, this is the easiest part of the whole puzzle. We just take our annual investment, that $1,000, and we multiply it by the annuity factor we just figured out, 13.2. And that gives us our final answer, approximately $13,200. I mean, just think about that for a second. We went from that absolutely terrifying formula to a really solid, reliable estimate in just a couple of simple mental steps. Pretty cool, right? All right, now for the moment of truth. Let's see how our $13,200 estimate stacks up against the multiple choice options. Okay, well, option C and D are immediately out. No way. They are way too high. Option A at 13 grand, it's a bit low. But look at option B, 13,181. That is an almost perfect match for our estimate. We found our answer, and we can be super confident about it. But here's where this gets really powerful. This isn't just a one-trick pony for one specific question. You can actually generalize this method and turn it into a powerful mental tool that you can use anytime you face a problem like this on an exam. In fact, you can basically create a little mental cheat sheet for yourself. For a 10-year annuity, the factor for 5% is around 12.6. For 6%, it's that 13.2 we just figured out. And for 7%, it's about 14.8. If you just memorize these three simple numbers, you will look like an absolute wizard on exam day. You'll be solving these problems in seconds, while everyone else is still staring at the page. So the big takeaway here is this. Always, always challenge the complexity they put in front of you. You gotta look for that one key variable, that one simple assumption that can unlock what looks like an impossible problem. Because more often than not, especially on these big exams, there's a beautiful, elegant shortcut just hiding in plain sight. And it just makes you wonder, right? What other complex formulas are out there just waiting to be cracked with a simple shortcut?